The year you don't pay tax, we call it as tax holiday. If there is any backward state or district, there whatever we do, we consider it as your deduction, ATIC. Now, profit from industrial undertaking located in the specified state. A warm welcome to one and all. This is your ALsir here, lecturing Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. And now we are discussing the topic called Corporate Tax Planning, Unit 2 and Session 1. In this, we are discussing tax planning for new business. In your syllabus, the Unit 1 and Unit 2, it is all about theory. Unit 1, it is all about what is corporate tax planning, what is tax evasion, what is tax avoidance, what is tax planning, and what is tax management. Along with this, you also had the types of company like Indian or domestic company as well as foreign company. All these topics we discussed in your Unit 1 and Unit 2. What is the Unit 2? Unit 2 talks about tax planning for new business. The small unit actually, this one will come for 5 marks in your examination. In your previous year question paper, they have asked only one question, that is on your free zone or free trade zone. On that it was asked, and we'll discuss all the topics one by one. Easy to remember, just points you are supposed to remember, and max to max in 15 to 20 minutes we can complete this topic. Now, tax management in location of the business. Tax management in location of the business. Now, what is the location in this? Where the business is doing. Is it same whether we are doing business in Bangalore and we are doing business in some village? Is it the same thing? Will the government take tax from both the companies same value? Answer is no. Depends on location, the tax will change. Even though all over India the tax rate is same, but the few places, few locations, the tax rate, they will get relaxation. They will get exemptions. All this we are going to discuss in today's session. Now, first one, section 10A. So as I told you, last year they have asked one question for 5 marks. So this is the only question they have asked for 5 marks. Now, free trade zone, tax holiday for newly established undertaking. What is holiday means? Very simple. You are running a company since 10 years and every year you are paying tax. All 10 years you paid tax for that. Now, in this, just assume that the 7th year they have not taken tax. In the 7th year, the government says that you don't pay me tax. That year we call it as tax holiday. The government never says that you don't pay tax. Just I gave you example for tax holiday. So in this 7th year, the government says that this year you got huge profit, still you don't pay me tax. That year we call it as tax holiday. The year you don't pay tax, we call it as tax holiday. Clear? If you are in loss and you not paid tax, there is no tax holiday. You are in profit, still you have not paid tax. That is called tax holiday. Now, the free trade zone, in this, they have given tax holiday. Even though in MYSURU, in some places the government wants to develop that places like Hassan, there were no industries and no anything technological equipments were there. Later what government did, we want to improve this particular city. So they have given some relaxation. You don't pay me tax for 5 years. Then what happens? Everybody will rush to Hassan. Everybody will go to Hassan. Why? Because up to 5 years, whatever they have done business, whatever they are going to do business, they are not supposed to pay tax. If there is no tax, what happens? Everybody will rush to that particular place. Similarly, the vaccination, what happens? If it is a paid one, Normally the queue will be there, it is lesser. In the government hospital or government institution, the queue will be high. Why? Because you are not supposed to pay for vaccination. Wherever it is lesser price, wherever it is free of cost, always the rush will be there. Similarly, free trade zone in the sense, few cities the government will identify. In those cities, the government wants to develop that city. Then government will say is that whoever wants to come, they can come. They can start new business. They can start new business. Up to 5 years, you are not supposed to pay tax. Then tax burden will be less. Hope you are clear. Yes. Now, first 5 years, 100% of the profit and gain is allowed as deduction. Up to 5 years, whatever profit you earned, there is no tax, that is considered as deduction. Hope you are clear. Why first 5 years means your investment will be there, huge investment. So you have to pay interest wherever you have taken money from money lenders. Even though it is showing profit, you are supposed to pay interest also. That's why government has given you relaxation. You are not supposed to pay any tax up to 5 years. Hope you are clear. Yes. What section 10A says? It talks about free trade zone. Remember, wherever I make boxes, that only you are supposed to remember. It is all about free trade zone. Up to 5 years, first 5 years, 100% of the profit will be called as deduction, no tax. Next 2 years, next means 6th year and 7th year, 50% of the such profit will be called as deduction. Now, after that, from next 3 years, means 8, 9, 10. Next 3 years, for the next 3 consecutive assessment year, so much of the amount not exceeding 50% of profit as it is debited to profit and loss account year, in respect of which the deduction is to be allowed and credited to a reserve account to be called the special economic zone reinvestment allowance. Now, up to 5 years, 0, 100% exemption. Next 2 years, up to 50% profit, like you got 1,000 profit. In that 1,000, you are supposed to pay tax only on 500 only. Balance 500 will be called as deduction. Then, last 3 years, it will be for the next 3 consecutive assessment years, so much of amount not exceeding 50% of the profit, not exceeding 50% of the profit is debited to profit and loss account of the year, in respect of which the deduction is to be allowed and credited to reserve account to be called the special economic zone reinvestment allowance reserve amount to be created and utilized for the purpose of business of the assets. See, I'll make it clear now. It is about what? Free trade zone. This is clear. Now, first, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Up to this 100% profit deduction. Hope you are clear. Yes. Now, next, year 6, year 7, next 2 years, we call it as 50% profit deduction. Whatever profit you earn, if it is profit is 100 rupees, 50 is deduction, they will not consider. Balance 50 you are supposed to calculate tax and you are supposed to pay. What about last 3 years? 8, 9 and 10. These 3 years, they will not give you deduction. It is deductions only. But what you are supposed to do? Up to 50% profit deduction. What is the difference between this and this one? Here also 50% deduction. Here also 50% deduction. Then what is the difference? The difference is very simple. Whatever 50% deduction they have given, the company cannot use for personal. The company has to reinvest. Reinvest. If company wants to establish, company wants to extend, company wants to go for new project, this 50% whatever the government leaved, whatever the deduction they have given, that has to be utilized for reinvestment. Hope you are clear. Yes, this is all about your section 10A. So like this you are supposed to remember. Please write on this chart, because instead of reading the whole sentence, this chart will give you complete picture of your question. Hope you are clear. Good. Next, the second one. Second one, it talks about section 81IA. Sorry, not 1, 80IA. Now, undertaking which 1, 2, 3. It is applicable for these three. Which are these three? I'll explain you. Set up in any part of India for the generation and distribution of power. It is for power. If it begins to generate power at any time during the period beginning on the first day of April 93 and ending on 31st day of March 2010. So this is applicable section 80IA, not now, it is earlier. From 93 to 2010, any power generation happened, for them they have given deduction. Second one, start transmission or distribution by laying on network of any new transmission or distribution lines at any time during same procedure. From April 99 to March 2010, if you have done any transaction like transmission related, you will get deduction. And the last one, undertaking substantial renovation and modernization of the existing network transmission. If you do any modernization or renovation in the year during 2004 and ending on 2010, you will get deduction of 100% or 30% of the profit from such eligible business. For different business, the percentage vary. Maximum 100%, minimum 30% will be the deduction. This is not much important, but remember, right now it is not applicable, but everything 93 to 2010, 99 to 2010 and 94 to 2010. Now, this is for what? 93 to 2010. This is for your power generation. This is one. Next, second one is what? This is transmission. Transmission. For the year it is 99 to 2010. And the last one is renovation or modernization. This is renovation or modernization. So this is for what? 2004 to 2010. So these are the three things you are supposed to remember in this problem. Hope you are clear. I made it simple. Instead of reading everything, just read this. But month, remember, everything from 1st April to 31st March. Everything from 1st April to 31st March. So these are the things you are supposed to remember. So your first one, section 10A and section 80IA. 10A is very important. IA it is similarly, comparatively it is less important. And the next one, 80IB, it is not much important, but just remember IB. We discussed IA and now we are discussing IB. Deduction in respect of profit of industrial undertaking located in backward state of district. If there is any backward state or district, there whatever we do, we consider it as your deduction. Now, deduction allowed is 100% and 30% for 10 years. So, which one you want? Deduction allowed is either 100% or 30% for 10 years, depending upon case to case. Few cases they will give you 100% for 10 years, or few cases they will go from 30% for 10 years. Remember, how to remember this? Backward state. 30% to 100%. It will vary according to the cases. Hope you are clear. Good. And the third one, 80IB, subsection 11B. The amount of deduction in case of undertaking deriving profit from the business or operating and maintaining hospital in rural area. This talks about what? Hospitals in rural area. Hospitals in rural area. Now, shall be 100% of the profit of gain such business for a period of 5 years. How much it is? 100% and 5 years. Remember this. Any hospitals which are constructed or built in rural areas, like 5 years consecutive assessment year beginning with the initial assessment year. Just assume that you want to start a hospital. You are a doctor, you want to start a hospital. What you will do? You will start in the city. Then what happens? Whatever income you generated or you are supposed to pay tax. But the government wants hospital in rural areas. The government wants hospital in rural areas. Then what happens? The government will give you permission. You are not supposed to pay tax for 5 years, whatever you earn. Then what happens? Every doctor goes to rural area. To promote the hospitals in rural area, government has given this exemption. So, hospitals in rural area up to 100% deduction or exemption up to how many years? 5 assessment year, 5 years. Hope you are clear. Good. Next. 80IC. 80IC. Now, profit from industrial undertaking located in the specified state. What are the specified state? Remember, like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, northeastern state. Deduction allowed is 100%. The few states or few places, the people will not go. The people are not interested to invest in that places. Why? Because landslides will be there. A terrorist attack will be there. That's why, see, if you want to plan for your outings, where do you go? Now, 100% you will go to Goa. Why? Because Goa is safe. Will you plan your outing to Jammu and Kashmir? Will you plan your outing to like any northeastern state? Yes, Himachal Pradesh. You will go, but you will not stay for much days. Why? Because the life security is very less. Hope you are clear. Yes, that's why the government wants to promote them. The government wants to develop that particular places. That is the reason the government says that you come and start business in Jammu and Kashmir. You come and start business in Himachal Pradesh. You come and start business in Uttarakhand and northeastern state. We will promote you. How you will promote us? The government will give 100% deduction of tax. Hope you are clear. How to remember? Like industrial undertaking for specified state. For specified state like Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh and other places. What is the percentage? It is 100%. Remember this. Hope you are clear. No need of this box actually, because it is only 2 to 3 lines. You can easily remember. Now, these things are not much important, just for your reference. Now, where the gross total income of an assessee being scheduled bank some scheduled bank or any bank incorporated by under the laws of country outside India. Few banks are there which are maintained and which are handled or which are in the majority part, like holding company, like so which are holded by other country. Then what happens? And having an offshore banking unit in special economic zone. If the same thing is in the special economic zone, then what happened? 100% of such income for 5 consecutive years. Up to 5 years, 100%. The company or bank should be held by foreign company and the place should be in India and it should be in the special economic zone. So forms of business, I'll give you clear picture, very simple. You want to start a business. You want to start a new business. What you will do first? You know that jewelry shop or something like that you're starting, like cloth shop or some provision store you're starting, or some construction industry or some tiles marble industry, like that you will start. But which form you will start? Will you start individually, sole proprietor, or else there are 3-4 members are there? Will you go for partnership, or there are many directors you have made or framed, and will you go for company or limited liability company? Yes, these are called as forms of your business. Or else you will go for like society, cooperative society. These are called as forms of your business. So before you start any business, always you think about, should I go for sole, alone? Should I go for partnership? Should I go for company? Should I go for LLP? Should I go for cooperative society? Like this, you will think and you will start. Similarly, once you're done with your second PU, what you thought? Should I go for BBA or BCom? Similarly, if you want to start a new startup, you should think about, should I go for any one of this? Now, the next one, forms of business organization. This is very important. You can expect 5 marks from this. So 5 to 6 points are there, very less in quantity, easily you can remember. Like when you are forming new business, you will want to take into account the following, which are those, like vision regarding the size and nature of the, if it is a big or small, if it is a small business, you can go for sole proprietor, single person. The level of control you wish, you're alone, you cannot control, because half of the year you will be in India, half of the year you will be in abroad. Then someone you want to be there, then you will go for what? One more person. One more person means what? Partnership. Then level of structure you are willing to deal, what kind of structure you are going to build. So vulnerability means was like, I'll give you a simple example. In your laptop, while doing laptop, every time, every year, what you will do? You will go for antivirus. So you will pay 700 or 800, or if you are knowledgeable, then what you will do? From the online, you download some your antivirus to safeguard your system. That is called vulnerability. Vulnerability means dangerous. To avoid that, you have to go do some safeguarding. Now, tax implication of the different organization. This you will understand in the unit 4. So which is better? Whether if I go for sole proprietor, I have to pay more tax, or else should I go for company to pay more tax? Which one will attract more tax? That you are supposed to find out. Expected profit or loss of the business. What is your expected? Like in the first year, 90% you cannot find profit. What will be your expected loss? What will be your expected profit? Everything you are supposed to keep it in mind. Hope you are clear. Good. Don't spend much time on these things, because theory you can learn easily. In the next session, we are going to discuss about sole proprietorship, partnership, C corporation, S corporation. I tell you what is C and yes. Yes means it is a sub. Next one, limited liability company. All 4. This 2 we call it as 1. This is 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 we will discuss in the next session. Yes. So I'll go back to all your previous slides. If you want, you can take screenshot. So tax management in location of the business, your section 10A, section 10IA, section 10IB, section 10IB subsection 11B, section 80IC, section 80LA, your forms of business organization. These are the 5-mark question, and there are 4 forms of business organization. So this is all about your today's session. As I told you, your unit 2 is all about theory, but it is interesting actually. And one more session you have on this particular unit, and that will be the small session, and will conclude or complete this particular unit. Thank you.